We have a lot of news to get into today regarding things that may get revealed at Jump Festa, and then I'm also going to be debunking something regarding Dragon Ball Daima. So first, let's get into the Dragon Ball Super manga leak before we move on to the movie information. Let's get a look at this supposed teaser. This is, of course, really weird that we're getting this leak out of nowhere. Supposedly, the Dragon Ball Super manga is going to reveal this page at Jump Festa 2025, and of course, this would also be making the rounds online at the time. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this sword and this hand. So obviously, whoever created this, whether it's official or not, they are evoking vibes of Janemba with the sword. And apparently this translates basically to the God Slayer arc or something like that. So we're supposed to believe that this person is going to basically wage war on the gods of the Dragon Ball cosmos. Now there's a few things that don't look right in this photo. First of all, the Dragon Ball has a black star. That is not the color of the Dragon Ball Super logo, right? And then if you look at the design of the sword, it's basically a rip from the Thor Love and Thunder Gore the God Butcher sword. They've even got the little circular thing there with the little pointed parts on the blade. I'm not sure what you would call that. And then if you look here, same thing. So I think whoever made this leak was basically trying to troll the community and to seeing how many people would believe it, even if it's a basically direct ripoff from Gore the God Butcher and Thor Love and Thunder. But just to go beyond that, SEKAI_DB on Twitter posted this new saga a few days ago on 4chan. This image began to circulate announcing a supposed new saga of Dragon Ball Super, the God Slayer arc. In case you're not familiar, I think that's what they call Gore the God Butcher. Yes, the art style is very similar to Toyotaro's, but I have to say that this is false. They go on to say, there is a typo in the furigana, the notation that indicates the pronunciation of kanji. Again, I don't speak Japanese or read it, so I'm taking them at their word above the name of the series. So that is more than enough to say that it was made by a fan. That is true. That is more than enough, but at the base level, this is just a rip-off of the Gore the God Butcher sword. Now, with that in mind, is it possible that we get the announcement of Dragon Ball Super returning at Jump Festa? For sure. Because we know that they're going to have a Jump Festa panel for the Shonen Jump manga, right? And we know that Toyotaro is going to appear there. Now, we know for sure he's going to be there to draw Goku. What else is he there for? Who knows? That's up in the air. But we do know that he is on record as saying he's excited to return and basically draw more fights and make it exciting. And he also is basically credited now as the creator of Dragon Ball Super. For example, people are talking about if you look at Dragon Ball Legends, he has a credit on Dragon Ball Legends now as basically one of the owners of Dragon Ball. Because, you know, he's basically inherited the manga, so that makes sense. He's basically one of the main driving creative forces behind it now. We still don't know if there's still legal issues behind the scenes regarding the Dragon Ball Super manga return, but I don't think that it's impossible that we have a return announced at Jump Festa. I do, however, think it's more likely we're going to get a movie announced. So if we look at this information from Dragon Ball 09876 on Twitter, he says Toei will be releasing 2 movies worldwide in fiscal year 2026, which would be April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026, according to Toei's report. They go on to say it will most likely be Dragon Ball and One Piece. Now, if you just take a look at this here, if you look at existing IPs for Japan for the fiscal year 2026, that's 5 titles, right? And if you look at existing IPs for the world for 2026, that's 2 titles. Now, Geekdom 101 did say this, which was a good point. There will likely be a Precure film. I would not get my hopes up about anything this early. But other people were saying Precure is more of a Japanese local thing. It's not something that they would necessarily put the money into releasing worldwide. And if they do have 2 titles releasing worldwide in 2026, it would likely be Dragon Ball Super's next movie and a One Piece movie, which would of course do big numbers overseas, right? Now keep in mind 2026 in the fiscal year is April 1st to 2025 to March 31st, 2026. So this would mean that the movie would have to come out during the year of 2025, which would line up with the current Dragon Ball Super movie release cycle. So in case you forgot, Dragon Ball Super Broly released in 2019, Dragon Ball Super Superhero released in 2022, This movie coming out in 2025 would again give it a few years after the previous movie. That would make sense. So I do think the Dragon Ball Super manga being announced to return is less likely than the movie being confirmed. I think it's more likely we'll get a movie confirmed. So let's just go ahead and hold our breaths and wait to see. But again, some people will say you don't want to hold your breath. So maybe you don't want to hold your breath. Take everything, again, I say with a grain of salt. None of this stuff could happen, by the way. I'm not basically here to say it's 100% going to happen. But I'm here to say there is a more than 0% chance that it's going to be announced. That's all. I'm not for sure, but I'm not 100% against it. It's up in the air. Also, leading into Jump Festa, I wanted to say you're going to see a lot of this. So they added a community note on this. This is not the official Dragon Ball Super account, but before they added the community note, this got 8.8 thousand likes, as you can see there. They basically are masquerading as the Dragon Ball Super official account. Of course, there's one F missing, so that should be the dead giveaway. 12/21/2024, right? They're basically teasing some sort of announcement then, but they're not the official account. So why are people giving this person any attention? Well, it's because they're being a little bit tricky. So I just wanted to leave this here. Be wary. Don't just go around believing everything you see. Look at the account and use your context clues to come to a conclusion. The last thing I wanted to talk about today, and again, this is coming from an honest place. I don't think DBS Hype was really making this post with any malicious intent to try to cause controversy or stir any trouble. This is a relatively minor problem, but he says here, apparently in a now deleted post on Threads, Toyotaro revealed that he is indirectly involved with Dragon Ball Daima, having designed several Kaioshins for the show. So, apparently, having designed several Kaioshins for the show. So this is where I take issue with this statement, and this is why I put on the thumbnail, debunked. Because Toyotaro is not saying that he designed them for the show. He's saying there were several Kaioshin that he designed. I was indirectly involved with Daima. Now, when he says indirectly, that doesn't mean that he made them for the show. He's talking about this. And if you guys remember, there were a lot of designs to do in the Universal Tournament of Power saga of Dragon Ball Super. So whenever you're going through and doing all of those designs, I think what it was Toyotaro and Toriyama basically came up with a lot of the designs together. So that's what Toyotaro was referencing. He was not referencing that he was creating artwork for Daima. So I just wanted to go ahead and debunk this statement here. So again, you could say that DBS Hype is talking about that, but he says apparently, which would imply that this is new information to him, having designed several Kaioshins for the show. It's not that he designed Kaioshins for the show, it's that he designed Kaioshins for the Dragon Ball Super anime/manga that would then later appear in the show. So that's really what he's referencing there. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. I just wanted to make a quick video to basically talk about the misinformation leading up to Jump Festa, mainly involving this Dragon Ball Super manga leak. It's so, like, laughably fake. Again, this is just a Gore the God Butcher sword. So, again, don't take it with a grain of salt. Just throw it out the window. Now, if this is real, then Toyotaro absolutely ripped from Thor Love and Thunder. But again, I mean, it's not like Toriyama didn't rip from anything. If you look at Frieza's form, his third form, that's just Predator, you know? Mostly Predator. Or is it Alien? I don't know my franchises. I think it's Alien. I don't know my Predator, Alien movie franchises. I'm not really a big horror fan like that. But I do know, I've heard that elements of Terminator was taken for the Future Trunks stuff. So I guess it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for this to just be lifted from Thor Love and Thunder. But I don't think it's true. I think this is just fake. Again, we've already gone over the other information, so I would not put a lot of stock in this. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. I will be following all the information from Jump Festa this weekend, and I will be making probably 1 or 2 videos in a news video, basically how I always do it, where I just combine everything into one video. So make sure you stay subscribed to stay up to date with all things Dragon Ball news and commentary, and I will see you in the next one. Peace off.